Hello, everyone. My name is John Harari, CEO and co-founder of Windowswear, and I'm joined today by Raul Tovar, creative director and co-founder of Windowswear. Raul, Mike, and I launched Windowswear about 8 years ago, and we've grown tremendously since. And we do these sessions every week where Windowswear hosts a live interactive session about a news article, a trend topic to all of our members around the world. And we also use this as an opportunity to also get to know different members from our community. We've got about 21,000 members of Windowswear worldwide. We've got lots of followers on our social media channels, including Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, which we're all broadcasting live. And we thought that we would take an opportunity to do something that we normally don't usually do, which is to showcase Windowswear. Obviously, all of our content, everything that we do is meant to showcase the global community of creatives that work in this industry around the world. And we thought to ourselves, there's no better time than right now. Everyone is still, quarantining from home. People need online resources at their fingertips. And in addition to that, we know that there's lots of companies, lots of people that have challenging moments at this time. And Windowswear, we're all about showcasing the creative content that this industry is creating all around the world, no matter if you're a student at a high school or if you're a creative director of one of the world's leading brands. We believe that showcasing content online, connecting with people digitally, and really embracing that is something that is not only important for ourselves as individuals, but also long-term and everything that we do. So we've got a brief agenda. We want to keep it fun, interactive. I'm going to go through, what is Windowswear, going through all the different membership options. And then Raul is going to explore more about our content and everything that we do. So this is our homepage, windowswear.com. You can see we've got a rolling banner. Really everything that we're doing, number one, is content. So you can think about Windowswear as the world's leading and most comprehensive database of retail and e-commerce, where we really try to capture absolutely everything that a brand is doing. So if you think about, any brand, if you think about the physical world, they're engaging with their consumers through their products, their retail stores, their window displays, their pop-up shops, trade shows, events. You think about the digital world, online, social media, e-commerce, websites, and then obviously the future, things like augmented reality and virtual reality. So for us, Windowswear, that's all content, that's all information. It's very visual, and every image represents a project that a brand has created to engage a consumer with that visual. So that's content. And number two, it's community. So we understand that there are hundreds of thousands of people that work in this industry worldwide, and we want to connect and showcase absolutely everyone. It's, this industry, unlike many other industries, where if you tell someone that you're an accountant, a doctor, a lawyer, right, they can quickly understand what you do. But for this industry, it's very difficult for people to understand what the people do in this industry, whether you work at a brand or you work at a specialist, which is providing a product or service to a retailer, or if you're a student studying this industry around the world. And as we know, retail, shopping, e-commerce, these are humongous industries worldwide. And at the same time, they also require a tremendous amount of investment in resources and creativity. And that's ultimately the best way to engage. So all of that, is nuts and bolts Windowswear. This is our homepage. As I mentioned, we're the world's largest comprehensive visual database of retail and e-commerce. I mentioned our community. So, we've got individual accounts, we've got company accounts, we've got school accounts. No matter who you are, what you do, how you do it, we want to showcase that on Windowswear. every day, every week, every month, we post trend reports, news articles. We want to also make sure that every one of our members is up to date in all the latest trends and information that's available on Windowswear worldwide, whether that's through our news articles or our Windowswear live sessions. And that's part of our content. And then archives. So the question that we always get, and this is the same question that we got when we started the company, is, am I allowed to post this content, right? Like, do I have permission to post? And, we all live in a day and age where the more that you post, the more successful that you are. The better the content you have, the more opportunities that you have. So, we're in a new era. We're in the year 2020. It doesn't really matter what has happened in the past. What has happened in the past is the past. But we live in a day and age where absolutely everything that we do needs to be captured, needs to be shared, needs to be documented, and needs to be archived. So I like to give the example of the movie industry. So with the movie industry, if you look at a site like IMDb, everyone gets credit. So every movie, every TV show, at the end of that creative piece, that creative project, absolutely everyone gets credit for the work that they've done. And with Windowswear, we're no different. We want to make sure that we give credit to absolutely everyone. And this is part of our archives. So our database dates back to 1931. We actually digitize archives of the past. This makes Windowswear a living, breathing museum of content. And at the same time, we wish Windowswear was created back in 1931, because back then we could actually know who were the creatives behind each one of these images. If anyone knows, please let us know. We're kind of like Wikipedia. As we're capturing things and we're digitizing the past, we obviously want to make sure we're as informative as a resource as possible. And think about all the vendors, all the specialists, all the people that contributed to every single visual back then. And when you think about the historical aspect of our industry, it's kind of silly not to think that in today's day and age that you can't share content and also tag it and acknowledge your work. It's just kind of like a silly thing, but that's the industry that we're in, and Windowswear, since day one, we've been breaking the norms within the industry. So this is our membership tiers. We obviously encourage absolutely everyone to be a member, whether you're, we've got free members, we've got paid members, and, ultimately, absolutely everyone can sign up for free. And we encourage that. So no different than social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Anyone can create an account, anyone can be a part of our community, anyone can upload projects. Now, usually when you pay for something, you want something more out of it. So in addition to the free memberships, we also have paid memberships, and it's really two forms of what do you want out of Windowswear. Do you want more content? And there's membership tiers for that, or do you want more access to our community? And as I mentioned before, everything that we're doing is both content and community. And we've got, as I mentioned before, over 21,000 members of Windowswear. That's it. That's the homepage. That's Windowswear in a nutshell. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Raul Tovar to go through more of what you get when you actually log in and you see more about what we do.
Perfect. Okay. Hi guys. My name is Raul Tovar, co-founder and creative director, and I'm going to show you right away how those Windowswear looks like when you log in. I share my screen. Perfect. Okay. So I'm here, I just logged in. This is my personal profile. And we designed Windowswear in a very easy way. We want it to be super easy to use, comprehensive, but at the same time, we want it to be fun and bright. And I believe in everything is more attractive when you see color and beautiful images. So everything is easier. So that's basically the or of Windowswear. On this, in the top header, this is where you can find all the databases, which is the premium content that Windowswear offer. When you subscribe, when you become a Windowswear member with a membership, that is for an organization or for academic, and also for specialists, you have access to all these features. And it's basically a database of different things, which are window displays, pop-ups, interiors, archives, as John was mentioning, which is pictures from 100 years ago, e-commerce, and AR/VR. Each one of these buckets is a database in which you can go in and just find any content that you want. Karen, I see you there. So would you mind, what's your favorite brand? So I'm gonna look for it. Oh, Karen is muted. Hold on, give me 1 sec.
Okay.
Okay,
Now,
you're there.
I would say let's go with Gucci.
Gucci, perfect. Okay, so Windowswear works really easy. You can look for a brand, you can look for a location, or you can look for a tag or a color. I would say that brand is the most comprehensive way, and we're gonna do it. So you just type Gucci, and here we go. So we're giving you all the most recent results from Gucci windows all around the world in cities like New York, London, Paris, Milan, Barcelona, Los Angeles, Hong Kong, Mexico City, Berlin. Okay, the results are organized chronologically, so you get the latest pictures. As you can see, now we are already seeing photos of July, which is still this month. The idea of Windowswear is that if you see it on the street, if you see it there in the store, it's already with us. And that's kind of like we're always trying to do. So if you will only be looking to find results from Gucci in New York, you can also add another filter that is like New York. And then you will only get results, oh Jesus, from Gucci in New York. One sec. Oh, I put the wrong thing. That's it. Okay. We have every location that you can think of. Here you go. Okay. This is only the results filter in New York. Okay. Same that you can find by brand or by location. You can also look for a specific tag. You know, let's say you're working on a project that is included flowers. So you can look for flowers, and we'll send you anything that has flowers on it, all kinds of flowers, okay? Which it could be in print, which it could be as paper, as props, and so on and so on and so on. So the possibilities of looking at stuff at Windowswear are literally like endless. And another great thing is you can also look for color. Some people, we have heard from some brands that when they're working on certain projects, they're not necessarily working on an idea specifically, but they either looking for a color or for a mood or something like that. So I don't know, let's say you're working on something that where you need like a red. So we'll send you all the pictures that have a prominent red color on them. And this is basically how Windowswear works. And it works like that just for any database. This is a database of windows. And I'm gonna go now to the database of pop-ups, which is one of my favorites. Because this is basically, there's no other place in the internet where you can find every pop-up that has been done in the recent months with a great quality images done on Windowswear. Again, here you can look for a brand, you can look for a month, for a city, etc., etc. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my homepage. So that's basically the database, which are either you can find them here or you can find them here. It's the same thing. Here's a little bit more accessible. After that, we have the channels, which is a thing that keep us very excited because it's kind of like, I always describe this part as like the New York Times of the industry. This is stuff that, in my opinion, every person that works in the industry needs to read every morning before, before you drink your coffee, or before you do your workout, you need to do this. And it's basically a curation of news on the industry that includes store openings, collaboration between brands, trends, different aspects of beauty, and sustainability, packaging, and all things in between. So we have channels here, and we have so many different channels. We have close to 14 channels. Each one of these channels right here. And every channel, has a thread of like news that you could also see chronologically. And one of my favorite channels is the trends channel because I'm not clicking here, which is right here, because it's basically a trend report that we elaborate in-house at the Windowswear office, which is basically a recapitulation of everything that's happened on certain topic. Let's say the industry is acknowledging Pride, or let's say out of the sudden, 2 years ago, everything was pink in the streets of New York City and every other city. So we analyze all those trends and we put them easy for you so you can find them. I'm gonna find the latest one, which is the COVID-19 landscape, which is basically a trend report letting you know everything that the brands did when the quarantine started, and everything that the brands are doing right now, and everything that the brands are going to do after this is a little bit go back to normal, and how they're gonna kind of like interact with the customer, and how they're gonna portray themselves in social media, etc., etc. So it's a really, really, really good read. You can also download them straight to your computer, and it's basically, if somebody asks you to do a research on what's gonna be from with the retail world after COVID, you literally can download this PDF, read it, and then give your colleagues kind of like a nice talk as if you did this yourself. So that's the channels. And again, we have 14 categories that includes everything from collaborations to trends to store openings. Is everything that you really need to know about the industry, the visual merchandising industry, the retail industry is right here. And after that, we have the community, which is basically people like you who are listening to us. And it's people in the industry that kind of like build a profile on Windowswear, and they daily or weekly or whatever, they upload their work. And they basically showcase what the creations that they're doing, and they can tag themselves. I'm gonna show you guys an example of a very cool project. This is Giovanni Zacariello, which is the VP of Global Experience at Coach. And I'm gonna go to his profile. One of the star members of Windowswear who always upload content almost every week. And for example, they just launched this project at Macy's. And okay, so this is Gio's profile page, right? This is Gio's profile page. You can message Gio from here. You can see all his projects, all his portfolio that he has done through his career at Coach. So you can see it. So now you can click on a project, and I'm gonna click on this one that is Coach in collaboration with Macy's and Herald Square. And they basically did a huge, giant tabby bag, and they placed it on top of Macy's, and it looks really cool, and I saw it in person. So Gio is a very cool in always photograph his projects. And this is something that he does internally, but it's also another service that Windowswear offers. So if you guys need photography, we can also assist with that. But basically, Gio upload all these amazing pictures, which also includes a video that is right here. And you can click on it, And then you can see all the information in the picture. You can see the name of the project, you can see the brand, the date, the city, what it is, the kind of industry, and the kind of project that it is. And if you want to see the photo in a bigger way, you can click on the zoom lens and you can see that way. It's a beautiful picture. Gio, this was amazing project. So I'm gonna close it. Okay, so that's that. And you know, you can see also here who collaborated with Gio in this project. So right here is Harlequin Design, which is another Windowswear member. They are a London-based company, and they do amazing work. And they've been working with Gio for a few, quite a time. And Gio also tagged them here. It's kind of like a tagging. It's adding new collaborators. So we can see here Harlequin Design, and we can see Roya Sullivan, who now works at Harlequin Design as well. And she was kind of like a key a person in putting this project to life. So you can see all the pictures here and all the information, even the credit of the photographer. And this is Giovanni's profile. So just like that, we have countless of people, Windowswear members that come to Windowswear every week or every day, every other day, and they put their projects, and you can find them here. And these things are usually changing. You know, we change them as long as they upload new stuff. We put people on the front page. That's the beauty about Windowswear. The more you post, the more to the front that you are. And just like that, we have the specialists, which are, as I say, people like Harlequin that help brands or retailers to bring those ideas to life. And those specialists, as we call them in Windowswear, they also have profiles where you can see their work and their portfolio. You can see it in the stores, but also it's nice to go to a website. And this is pretty much like a specialist website within Windowswear. The difference is that you see everything here. You see everything that they do right away. You can compare them with some other specialists. You can look for different stuff. You know, if you're looking for somebody who does visual merchandising, for somebody who does lighting, etc., you can also look for those in the databases. And just like that, we have the schools which also subscribe to Windowswear because they want to give the students a tool for competitive research, trend analysis, and just make them homework a little bit easy. It's very important that we think that it's very important that the students they keep updated and they keep inspired by the industry that is today. You know, when they go out in the field, they know they are familiar with the stuff, they're familiar with trends, they're familiar with tools, with brands, even with people, as they can interact with people here on Windowswear. So that's pretty much the content on Windowswear. We have the databases, we have the community, and we have all the information that you need to know to stay kind of like on the know. Also on the top page, there's also like this notification bell, which also will let you know of every project, of the most recent projects that were uploaded to Windowswear. If they're coming from a brand, if they're coming from a person, from a school, from a student, they all gonna appear here. And this is a very good way to kind of like keep up, you know, with who is doing what and what's up in every different parts around the world. That's that. And on top of here, we have the messaging, which is, you know, as I say, when you go to somebody's profile, you can message people. So that's an amazing feature on Windowswear. You know, forget about those non-wanted WhatsApp texts or emails that get lost. You can communicate now through Windowswear with your colleagues, which is very, very easy. And this W is the Windowswear icon, and that is the notification, the announcement icon, which is when Windowswear is sharing something on behalf of Windowswear. You know, it could be an event, it could be a special live that we're doing, it could be some nominations for the Windowswear Awards. Anything that is coming from Windowswear is gonna appear in this little thing. How am I doing, John?
You're doing great. Why don't you highlight how easy it is to upload a project?
Sure. Okay. So right here, you know, we have the feature for showcasing a project, which is very easy. And everybody can add a project to their profile. Doesn't matter what plan do you have, everything can do it. So I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's really easy. Just click in there. Okay. And the best way to have a project seen by all the Windowswear community is to be very accurate with the information that you provide about this project. So I'm gonna do this as an example, okay? And I'm gonna have, let's say I'm gonna do, let's say I'm doing trend reports for 2020, from 2020, okay? And I'm gonna set up the day as it is today. Let's say brand of company, I'm gonna put an example and I'm gonna say it's, let's say it's Coach. Okay, city, I'm gonna put that is in Milan. Okay, industry is fashion industry. And the type of content that I'm gonna put, although those pictures are not what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna say that they're interior shots. Okay, so here it's a brief description. All this information that I tagged, you know, Coach, fashion, location, and category. Those are tags that are, that's how the website kind of like pull up the content from you. So it's very important that those tags are accurate. This is just a title, you know, to make your project a little bit more exciting. And here you can describe, you know, what did you do with that. So I'm gonna say that this is a great trend report for 2020 and 2021 by Windowswear. Okay, so I'm gonna add a collaboration because John Harari, let's say John helped me with this, although that is not true, but I'm gonna say that he did. So I'm gonna add John Harari right there. And after that, I'm gonna upload my images, which are already in my desktop right here. So I'm gonna do this, 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 and this. Okay, my picture, the only requirement for this is that your images are less than 20 megabytes, which is pretty big size, and then you're ready to go. So if I want a picture to be the cover of the album, I just need to click on it and to move it. What is not moving? Hold on. Okay, I don't know why it's not moving, but usually you can move this. I'm gonna check it out, guys. So, okay, so that's that. And then you can also post a video. You know, if you have a behind the scenes video that you wanna showcase, or you have any video content that is related to this project, you can also add it here. You can, the only requirement is that it's a link to YouTube or Vimeo. That's it. So I'm gonna post my project. And that's it. That's how my project looks like, you know? Here's, I don't have projects, but this is my main project. So I'm gonna click on it. And that's it. Trend reports from 2020, you know, by Coach. It's fashion, it's an interior shot, pretending that this is an interior shot. It's in Milan, it's in July 2020, and it's a brief description. And this is John, because John helped me to bring that project to life. So it's very easy, you know, everybody can do it. And it's a great way to keep your profile always updated and letting know people what are you up to, what are you working on, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's it for me. I mean, I'm gonna take it after, but I think John has next point.
Perfect. Thank you, Raul. That was a great overview about all the content that we have and the way to showcase your work on Windowswear and exploring, you know, individual accounts, specialist accounts, school accounts, and also just sharing with our audience how to easily upload projects. And, you know, as we mentioned before, we've got, you know, 21,000 members. We've got a large following on social media. So we also make sure to showcase the content in more places. So I'm going to go over, you know, essentially why use Windowswear, right? There's so many things out there, and, you know, everyone's time is very important and it's very precious. So let me just share with everyone, you know, why spend time on Windowswear, right? Obviously, you know, if you ask Windowswear why to spend time on Windowswear, we would say, like, you know, we would obviously want you to spend time with us, but let me just show you why it actually makes sense for more reasons than just Windowswear, because we obviously know everyone's time is very important. So, Windowswear is a tremendous resource for content information, community, but on top of that, there's lots of resources available at people's fingertips. So, number one is Google, right? So if you want information, if you want content, what's your number one search engine? It's google.com, right? So let's go to Google, right? If you're a creative in this industry, if you're a person that is prominent in this industry doing great things, then, as you know, everything is Googleable. So let's just Google Giovanni. Right, so number one, and Gio is amazing. If Gio is on one of our channels, hello Gio, we're using you as an example only because we think that you're one of the ideal sort of members of Windowswear, which means we're gonna highlight what you do to our community to, have them inspired by how you're using us, because we obviously embrace what you do and how you do it. And we encourage many other creatives in the industry to essentially follow your role and follow your lead as far as showcasing yourself through Windowswear and online. So number one is LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is one of the world's biggest websites. We use it, lots of people use it, and it's a fantastic resource. Number two is One Club. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but number three is Windowswear, right? So, we've got very high Google search rankings. When you tag the projects, and we ask you for that information, we ask you that information only because Google is picking up those search terms. So if you're posting on Windowswear, it's great that it's on Windowswear and we feature projects to our 21,000 members, but we also want to make sure that we're reaching even larger audiences. And those larger audiences are found in places like Google. Now, Google is the masses, right? But that also comprises the people of our industry worldwide as well. So we have very, very, very high Google search rankings. And then everything that we do further highlights it, right? So if you can see here, you've got a Windowswear live session, you've got more video content that we've created. And, so if you think about that, right? And then if you go further down, now you've got, Instagram and the brand page where, Gio is found. And let me just quickly compare and contrast LinkedIn and Windowswear. So on LinkedIn's a great resource, as I mentioned. It's fantastic. We all use it. But LinkedIn it's very textual, right? It's a text-based resource. It's like a static resume that allows people to post on a wall. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's a resource that we all use. But if you look at someone's experience on LinkedIn, for 9 years of being within one brand, this is the experience, right? So great titles, great brands, but not really seeing what someone does, right? So if you look on Windowswear, and remember, all of these links are public. So even though you're posting it on Windowswear, it's accessible to the public, and it's also accessible to Google and all the other social media search engines. And then this is a visual resume, right? That's why we call it a portfolio. And a portfolio is a visual representation of someone's work. And ultimately for our industry, that's a far better way of communicating to people around the world who you are and what you've done. And if you don't have those visuals, if you don't have those images, and as Raul mentioned, for many of our clients, they don't necessarily have the resources or time to photograph their work, or even if they do photograph their work, it's not of the highest visual quality. And as we know, having very good images, Raul's a professional fashion photographer. He's the first person to say that, obviously that's the most important thing. And as you think about our industry, everything that this industry produces is very visually engaging. So if you can't even take a good photograph of what you've created, it's doing a complete disservice to the actual work that you've done. And, if you see here, this is all a visual resume. This is a visual representation of the work that's being done. And what's great about this from a Google and SEO perspective is every one of these projects is also its own individual URL and link. And when we ask for the information that we'll highlight it, what's the brand, what's the content, what's the date, what's the location, who's the one that created this. The only reason why we ask for that information is because we obviously want people to be able to find it. And a lot of times when people are posting content online, they're not giving those basic keywords. And if you don't have those keywords, you're not actually properly communicating what your content is. And if you can't add that to the content, then it's completely lost. So a lot of times people think, oh, I posted it online or I shared it, and therefore it should be easily accessible. And actually the opposite is the case. Unless you've actually done it in the right way, it's not going to be found. And then on Instagram, it's kind of like the opposite of Instagram is kind of the opposite of Google. So what Instagram does is they do hashtags. And with hashtags, everyone wants to use as many hashtags as possible. And that's fine. We use a lot of hashtags. Hashtags is a thing that people do, but it's kind of like it's a little spammy. And the hashtags are only there to get the content in broader search categories. But from a data perspective, from an actual, who is actually doing what within this industry, it's not as specific. It's just more general, which makes it easily accessible. It's easy for people to find it because there's just a tremendous amount of content. But on the flip side, it's actually hard to find something specific just by using that hashtag. So with Windowswear, we do a mix of both. Now on our social media, a lot of times with people in this industry, it's, some have bigger followings than others. And, the only way to generate a following is with good content. And because none of the content is necessarily anything that we've created at Windowswear, it's the content of our members, it's the content of our community. We're able to post content from all around the world because we're essentially showcasing everything from around the world. So it only really allows the companies and the brands that really have a tremendous amount of content be able to really grow a following. So, we have clients that have been around for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And, they do very well as a company, but then they only have 200 followers on Instagram. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just that projects haven't been captured and projects haven't been showcased properly online. And all that is required is an investment of time and resources. And as Raul mentioned, we can certainly help. And we love to showcase the projects of our clients on our website, through our email newsletters, through Windowswear.com, through all of our social media channels, including LinkedIn and Instagram. And then I'll just share the last thing before I'll kick it to Raul, and then if anyone has any questions, is our awards. So, because this is why I use Windowswear, right? So every year we take the best projects that have been posted on Windowswear and we create a global online voting competition where people from around the world can choose the best projects within the industry globally. And this is a lot of fun. This is a way that we engage with our community. And this is a great way for people to really showcase themselves and advertise the work that they've done. And to us, this is a big moment for Windowswear. And by having more projects, more members, more people uploading their work, the more we're able to share the best of the industry. So we absolutely encourage, everyone here, if you're not already a member, to be one. and obviously for those that are members, you know all this stuff. But this is a great way that we really showcase the best of the best from around the world every year. And, you know, we love to do events. You know, now we're doing events primarily digitally, like through interactive online experiences like this. But, you know, we're also very well known for our events and experiences, because it's not just about showcasing projects online. It's not just about making posts on our social media, but it's also really about engaging human beings, engaging them, meeting them, learning from them, and sharing what they have to offer to other people from around the world. And we love to put people together in fun, engaging, and exciting ways. And these are just images from our Windowswear Awards, which all of our members are invited to. And we've got different tiers of how we determine who has priority for all of our events, because we can only hold so many people in a room, you know? So, and we obviously make sure that all of our paid members, we give them all access to everything that Windowswear has to offer. And then we get a lot of press. These are just links to different press articles and that have been generated by you know, people that attend our Windowswear Awards. So, you know, that's about 45 minutes talking about Windowswear. I don't think that we, unless Raul, there's something else that you think that we missed that you want to highlight, but we can open it up for questions. I know that we're live on our Facebook, our Instagram, our LinkedIn. We've got people here on Zoom. Go ahead.
I kind of missed something, which is simple, but I think it's important. So okay. I'm gonna take it over. So it's basically the ability to download an image. So let's say you guys are here, right? And let's say you're doing some investigation and some research for pop-ups. So let's go to pop-ups. And let's say you're looking for a Louis Vuitton pop-up, which they do amazing pop-ups. So let's click on Louis Vuitton. And you have all the content from Louis Vuitton, right? So you click on the image and you can do two things with this. Bear with me while it opens. Okay. Okay, you can click on this image. And again, you know, this is all the information. So there's three things that you can do with this picture, which is the first one is you can add yourself as a specialist. And that means that if you were able to help with the installation of, if you created it, if you manufacture the logo, anything, if you have anything to do with this pop-up, you can also, you can add yourself as a specialist. So this image will go straight to your profile and it will look, and it will be showcased as your portfolio as well. So that's one thing. The second thing is you can add this to a board. So I don't know, let's say you're doing some research and then you're collecting images from here and there. So there's an amazing feature on Windowswear that allows you to collect those images in a kind of like secret way. So you're only the ones who's gonna see them. So you can click add to board and basically, you know, I have my boards here for some things that I'm working and I can just add it. So let's say I'm gonna add it to this test board and that's it. File and you go to my boards right here. You guys gonna see the test and you're gonna see, you know, this is all the pictures for my test board. And you can see the Louis Vuitton right here. Okay, that's another thing. And then again, and I'm gonna show you this with like interior database. Also, you can download the picture. So let's say Prada. Okay, you can find this from Prada. You can click on it. So I show you, you can add yourself as a specialist, you can add it to a board, or you can download the image. You click here and allow, and the image will go right to your downloads folder in your computer. So you have this image now, you can print it, you can work with it, whatever. You can also share on social media if you want. You know, if you did that and you're so excited to see it on Windowswear, you can also share on social media. So that's kind of like it of as far as you can do with the content on Windowswear. I would like to open if everybody has some questions. I'm happy to respond them. And yeah, logging in is really easy.
Raul,
So
as we're waiting for questions, you know, you're the creative director of Windowswear. You deal with all the content, and we obviously have a great team. Nicole, Jolene, Mike. Talk to us about, you know, what makes for great content online. You know, obviously, I think you know about it, but you know, I think it's difficult for people to grasp because everyone wants it, right? No one will say to themselves, "I don't want good digital content," but what does that actually mean from your perspective, and how can people think about it? Because you know, as you know, Raul, I always go to you for, you know, your advice as content and things, but you can imagine if you don't have someone like you nearby, you know, what insights can you provide to people? Because obviously everything that we're talking about with Windowswear and everything that we do is good digital content.
Okay, I think, you know, at least on Windowswear, which I can speak for, it all comes to great imagery, you know, and great imagery comes from, of course, great photographers, but also like simple things, you know, such as sometimes, you know, you might not have the ability to hire a photographer for your project. Maybe it was a small project, maybe you're on site and you're just able to photograph it. So just, you know, great photos, great lighting. You know, you're photographing an interior. Make sure to so they can turn the lights as much as they can. Of course, like professional cameras are ideal, but nowadays even the latest iPhone can take amazing images and you can use them. So I would say that is the most common mistake that I see in some of the projects. You know, that they are amazing projects. They're great. They're so big and so colorful, but then the imagery is kind of like blurry or is from angles that are not the perfect angles, etc., etc. So I would say that. I would say, as I did it before, kind of like the tags. And whenever you're uploading a project here, just all this information is very important because it's how Windowswear kind of like pulls the content to put it on the front, even for us to showcase it in the notification page, or even us to showcase it on social media. So the more accurate that you can do with this, that you can be with this information, is the better for Windowswear. And again, the project title is just a title to kind of like, I will always see it more as explaining more as the theme of it. Like, let's say it is called, I don't know, it could be called huge props or oversized props, you know, and then the company is a brand, and then the city is New York, and then the description is like, for this idea of for this month's idea, we are recreating 7 eat bags in huge size as a props, and then adding my collaborations and posting. So the more accurate that you can be with that information, the best. Also, another thing is like, don't let any other project go to waste. You know, there's no such a thing as small project or big project in Windowswear. I feel like they all deserve kind of like the same attention, and they all are worthy of like a share. So anything that any project that you do for as small as it is, just, you know, try to put it in your profile. We love to see profiles with very well, very complete. I'm gonna click on Eva May, which is the Global Business Merchandising Director at Europeana, and she always is very keen in having all the recent projects photographed, and then she uploads the content all the time. And you know, this is the Lanterna project from January of this year, and she have 3 images, which is great. It's enough to see them. You know, she gave us all the information about it, and you can see the images right here in such a big way. Excuse me, my connection is a bit slow, but yeah.
And as
just the images.
yeah,
The
you're
important. 20 megabytes is the limit size for a image of Windows, which is more than enough. You don't need you don't need. So be careful with your images. And again, if this is too complex for you, if you don't know how to do it, send us an email, send us a message. I'll be happy to assist, or someone on the team be happy to assist, making your profile kind of like look the best.
Perfect. That's a great answer, and I think that's very helpful for people tuning in. Rosa Creativa from Instagram, you've got 2 questions, and these are very, very good questions. Your first question is, my projects are not from really well-known brands, and they're mostly from independent traditional retailers. Can I still upload my photos of my projects, including window displays? Raul, what's the answer to that question?
Yes, the answer is yes, of course, you can do it. If you come across to this tab here, you can put your projects here. And if you come across to these brands, to this tab here, and you're trying to look for your brand and it's not there, the best way is to send us an email or a message through Windowswear, and we can add those brands. We understand that every city has, smallest boutiques, and our list is very comprehensive and very extended. There are more like 1,600 brands that we have. So in case, the brand is not in that list, send us an email so you can tag it. But still, you can and you should upload those projects to Windowswear. What is the second question, Jenny?
And then the second question is, can I upload projects done in the past?
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. Yes. You can also, all the projects that you want. You can either, you can be accurate with the date. For us, the idea of the date tab here, is so kind of like people in the industry, the industry goes by seasons, and it's very helpful for people to kind of like understand if you build this green window during summer or during winter or something like that. Some of those things are very useful for that. So the reason that we have a tab date tag is because we're gonna kind of like keep it accurate by the seasons. It's kind of like, oh, if you're working ahead 6 months in advance, and then you're like thinking in December, and you might wanna know in Windows where you might wanna look, okay, what other brands did on December 3 years ago or 4 years ago or some stuff like that. So if you can remember the dates of those things, accurate dates, as at the month, that'll be perfect. Worst case scenario, you put the current date and that's it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And as we mentioned before, our archive dates back to 1931.
Yes.
So by adding projects from the past, we're really giving people an actual idea of what's been done, what's happening around the world, what's done, what's being done today, what happened in the past. And Raul has some of our archives. We've got tens of thousands of images from the 1930s, the 1940s, 1950s, 60s, 70s. And this is also about the creatives within the retail community. So that means if you're creating windows, if you're creating pop-ups, if you're creating retail stores, if you're doing the merchandising, if you're involved in social media, e-commerce, websites, email marketing, every one of those pieces of content is coming from the world's brands, and it's also very engaging. So it doesn't matter if you're just working on Windows or if you're working on emails. That's all content that we want for Windowswear, and that's all content that you can tag yourself to. And also, most importantly, the more content you have and the more projects you're showcasing, the more you can showcase yourself better. And Windowswear is a place where a lot of people come for content and community. So the more that you can share with us who you are and what you've done, the more we can share it to our community. And then the more opportunities we create for each other.
This is why the date is important. So right here, I'm gonna look for 1970 in our archives database to see if I can find something. And let's see. Yeah, so that's why the dates are super important. Here are Windows displays from Lauren Taylor from just like that year. We have every year that you can think of. They go back to 1930, I think. I'm sorry, my connection is unstable. But yes, here it is. See, it's incredible. 1970. It's more than 50 years ago. And so that's why dates are important. And that's happening right now, but at some point in 20 years, perhaps the images today, they're gonna be seen as archives. So who knows? So that's why the date is important. Any other question, John? Or we can call it a day?
I think that's it for today. Just wanted to thank everyone for being here. Thank you for your time. And as Raul mentioned, if anyone has any questions, has any issues, feel free to reach out to us. And everything that's being posted, we see. You know, we're a small team, but we're small and mighty, and we love to be engaged with our members, our clients, and you know, the topic of today was showcasing yourself, and I hope that we did a great job of showing how Windowswear is a resource that helps people within our industry to better showcase themselves, you know, both online as well as offline through the events and the experiences that we post.
Anything else? You're a message away, so just log into Windowswear and send us a message. You can find us there, or you can send us a DM through Instagram also. And that's it. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us. I hope you guys find this helpful.
Thank you. Bye.